as somebody and all of us as we wave the flag for rock and fight for rock every day, always looking for somebody young to come along and carry that flag and take us to the next level. And this guy just came on the scene and blew up in 2025. As I was saying the other day, got to be the biggest story of the year as far as rock, in my opinion. We are joined today in studio. He's in New York, I'm in Vegas, by Yungblud. Good to see you, man.
Hello, Eddie, man. How you doing, man? It's good to see you.
Yeah, man, you too. So do people call you Yungblud or Dom? What do you prefer?
Call me what you want. Just don't call me Dominic. That's what my mum calls me when I'm naughty.
Because I've seen interviews with you, and people have said, "Hey, what's up, Dom?" And I'm like, are you cool with that?
Yeah,
since,
I'm
that's your real
totally
name?
cool. My friends call me Dom, and Eddie, you are a friend now, so call me whatever you want.
All right, well, that's cool. How did you get the name Yungblud? Who gave that to you?
What's weird is I always got called it. You know what I mean? I grew up in a guitar shop. My dad had a guitar shop with my grandfather in the north of England. We had a family-run guitar shop. And everyone would always call me the Yungblud because my uncles who would work in the shop would be like 25 to 50. So I really grew up with old rockheads, and they always used to call me the Yungblud. They used to call me either the Young Spunker or the Yungblud, but I thought Yungblud
right?
was probably a better artist name than Young Spunker.
Do you think that if you would have came onto the scene under the name Dom Harrison, though, it would have worked against you?
No, it's way too polite. You know what I mean? It's not very rock and roll, that, is it? You know what I mean? Hello! Alright, motherfuckers, I'm Dominic Harrison! Don't really have the ring to it.
You know what, though, man? I always think about that. I don't know if you do, but people that had stage names, and most people do, if Axl Rose would have come out and on the first Guns N' Roses album, his real name, William Bailey, would he have been less successful? If Steven Tyler was Steven Tallarico instead of Tyler, would he not be successful now? You ever think about that?
That's what I say, Steven Tallarico, we always joke about him, you're like a flamenco singer if you said that, you know what I mean? Steven Tyler's fucking rock and roll, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is, man. So I got to be honest, man. I've been doing this forever, and I consider to be kind of on top of things. I try to stay on top of things. I'll be totally straight with you, man. I had not even heard of you before Back to the Beginning.
Wow.
And I talk to rock fans every day on this show from all over the country, and I'd say about 98% of them told me the same thing. Who is this guy? When you came out and sang Changes, everybody just blew up. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? Now, of course, you had history before that. You had about 4 records or so. But, can you talk about your history before that a little bit, before we all became aware of you?
I think what has been so beautiful about this year is I really made an album, and I put out an album called Idols that represents kind of me as a 27-year-old as kind of a fully fledged artist. I think some artists come to us on their first album, they're fully formed. I think I've been doing this since I was 18 years old, and my first influences were like The Clash, The Sex Pistols, The Exploited, but also NWA, Dr. Dre, and Eminem. I was mixing punk music and hip-hop music on my first stuff. I grew up in a guitar shop and have an innate love of rock music. It's in my soul. It's where it's what I was brought up on. I was brought up on stuff from T-Rex to the Stone Roses to Metallica to the good stuff, Screaming Jay Hawkins, Muddy Waters, Bo Diddley, where it came from, and everything in between. But throughout the years from 18 to 27, I put out 3 records that were me really kind of figuring myself out in real time as a young person with this community, and we built a massive, almost I'd say, cult together. You know what I mean? We built this following that was just so surreal. But it was beautiful on this album because I turned 27 and I really went back home. I really went back to my roots. I wanted to make an album that would be representative to how I would feel as a child when I was in my dad's shop listening to House of the Holy or Get It On or Bowie or Lou Reed or The Stooges, you know what I mean, Raw Power or you know what I mean, anything that would ignite that sense of freedom and innate truth that rock music provides in my soul. So I made an album called Idols, and I've had a relationship with the boss, with Ozzy Osbourne, since I was 22 years old. He was in one of my music videos for a song called The Funeral. And Sharon asked me to come and sing Changes at Villa Park, which was so nerve-wracking to me, because the thing about this is, man, is like, you're 2 years old and you love this guy before you are even coherent to what his music is. Ozzy Osbourne was like Batman to me. I just remember as a kid, people used to call me like Damien from The Omen. You know what I mean? I'm still trying to beat those allegations because I was full of energy and anger, and this guy made me feel comfortable to be who I was. Cut forward to 13, I find Black Sabbath, I find Paranoid, I find Fairies Wear Boots, I find Planet Caravan, I find the album, and it highlights this testosterone and this androgyny and all these emotions that I'm going through. Cut forward to 22 years old, I'm a successful musician, however you call it, and then Ozzy and Sharon are in my video. We get to know each other, and then I'm asked at 27 to do this monumental moment for Ozzy and Black Sabbath that I don't think I would otherwise be ready for if I hadn't made the album that I just made. I really settled and really kind of blocked out the noise and said, what do I want to make right now? And really, really found and faced myself and figured out who I am. And I got to walk out on stage in front of 50,000 people. Probably 25,000 of them didn't have a fucking clue who I was. 15,000 of them thought I was a fucking poser. And 10,000 probably knew someone who knew who I was, you know what I mean? And I got to just go out there and pour my heart out into this iconic song, you know. I think everyone was playing heavy shit. I thought they were going to give me The Wizard or Sweet Leaf because I've got this mad energy, but when they asked me to do the ballad, I was honoured because I knew it was going to be a David and Goliath moment. It was me, a piano, and 50,000 rock fans with probably like 5 million people watching at home. It was a mental moment, and all I tried to do was just tell my fucking hero that I loved him. Ozzy was everything to me since I was 2 years old. To have that moment and to have people discover Yungblud and to approach it with, I don't know, openness and give it a chance was a gift that I could never repay Ozzy for. And I hope he's up there, and I hope one day he will know how much I love him and how much I'm thankful for what he did for me.
Did you know when you did that song, when you were on that stage and you came off stage, did you feel it? Did you know that you just really put a flag in the ground and put a stake in the ground, and that all of a sudden the world is buzzing about you? Because it really was like that, man.
Yeah, it was
wild. Everybody that played that day, I knew all those guys personally as a fan, everything. You, I didn't. I had heard of you, but I didn't. And I'm like, who is this guy? And I'm calling, two of the guys that you played that song with are great friends of mine, Nuno and Frank Bello. And I'm calling them, and I'm like, what's going on here, man? Like, who is it? And they all said the same thing. This guy could be the guy. My friend manages Nuno. He called me. He's like, this could be the guy. Because in the rock world, we're all looking for that person that's going to give rock that big kick in the pants again. Put it back up on the charts. Did you feel that? Did you feel that may have just happened for you?
It was a wild thing. I think I walked on stage unannounced. Everyone was announcing, and I walked on unannounced to a piano. And I remember everyone was like, who the fuck is this? You could feel that.
Why did you not get announced? Did you?
I don't know.
I
think someone forgot. Honestly, so I was like, oh. Fuck, because everyone was going like, okay, I'm up next. Pass the mic over. Someone forgot to announce me. I was like, oh fuck. All right, cool. So I just kind of walked out there in my suit, and it started. But I remember when I hit the first chorus, I saw people go like, oh fuck. And then I just shut my eyes, and I really, Frank and Adam Wakeman and Nuno said this, and two from Sleep Token actually, we were like, something ascended. It's mental when you're on stage, right? You go on stage and you play music, and it's a gift and it's unbelievable. But there is rare moments where you transcend time, space, energy, feeling, and you kind of hit this thing that we call magic. You know what I mean? Like, you can't prepare for that. It just either happens or it doesn't. You know what I mean? It's like, playing music is amazing. but there is rare moments of like utter what the fuck. And by the end, when I got the crowd to sing, I didn't have that planned. It was not rehearsed. I remember I knew Ozzy was getting there for 3 o'clock. And we went on at 3:30. And I was in the third verse. It took so long to realise. And I had this idea. I was like, I know that band, and especially him, are nervous because they finally made it to the Villa. They made it to their hometown stadium. After basically inventing this genre, you know what I mean? Or the blueprint for modern metal music and rock music. And I knew that he was nervous because he was going to be chained to a chair for this gig. And I knew that it was not his ideal. So in my head, I wanted to provide a moment that he would hear in his dressing room, a roar of a crowd screaming, I'm going through. Just to hear the hum and the roar of a full stadium at 3:30 in the afternoon. And it was funny because Nuno and Frank Bello and Tu and Adam were like ringing out the last bit, and I was like, hang on a second, I ain't fucking done. And they were like, what the fuck's he about to do? And when I got to sing that with the crowd, I think it was for the first time that people, if they knew me or not, or hated me, or thought I was a fucking poser, or loved me or whatever, we all had something in common at the same time. We were just fucking music fans, and we were just Sabbath fans. So to people who didn't know who I was, they were like, oh, who is this? To people who fucking hated me were like, fair, I think I might give it a second chance. And people who loved me were like, yeah, man, that's what Yungblud does. And it was I don't know, man, I've almost blacked out that moment because it just went, there's rare moments in time where you just kind of let the music take over and let the moment take over, and to see how it was received was just insane.
It really is. It's one of those moments that's just seismic, man. And and I wonder, do you, like, when people like, you know, I said what I just said, and these other artists and my friend who's a manager in the business, and all these people say this about you and kind of put this on you as like, hey, this could be the guy. Like we're all hoping for somebody to bring rock to prominence again. Do you embrace that? Is that something for you? You embraced? You the type of guys like, I want to be that guy. Let's do it.
I love this genre. This is the genre I grew up in. You know what I mean? Rock and roll to me is amp glue, Tolex, soldering wire, lager, and fucking vintage guitar cases. That's what I grew up around. And the cross-generational divide that has been in rock music for many years, we can't hide that, is finally coming together. And to feel that firsthand from myself, especially in America, to see 4-year-olds to 74-year-olds to 18-year-olds to 15-year-olds to 35-year-olds at the shows as they get bigger in the name of rock music is obviously the ambition that I have. I love this genre. I finally feel like the world is ready for it. I feel like I've been deterred or advised to twist it. Let's turn the guitars down, let's EQ the drums out, let's put some 808s on, let's put some bass on this album. I said, fuck that, I'm going to put 9-minute songs with their imaginations, with guitar solos, and turn them loud, and let's go from inspiration from Guns N' Roses to the Beatles, to the Doors, to the Faces, to whatever, you know what I mean, to Smashing Pumpkins, to Deftones, to everything that's been before, and let's make it new, and let's carry it forward. Because I think in rock music, right, what's been a big problem in modern rock music, you've almost been ridiculed for the reference point. And for me, the reference point is what makes our fucking genre sacred. The fact that the Rolling Stones took Muddy, and then the Beatles took Bo Diddley and Buddy Holly, and then they moved it forward there, and then the Sex Pistols took the Beatles, and then they turned it into, and the Clash, and they turned it into punk, and then that was always derivative from Muddy and Bo, and then the Cure took all that, and then they made it darker, and then the 90s came, and Kurt Cobain was taking it, and then the 2000s came, and Oasis were taking T-Rex and the Beatles. And then, but the coolest thing about those artists was like, yeah, fucking yeah, man, we love that shit. It's rock and roll music. This is what we do. But in the 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, we were ridiculed for the reference point, where what I think's been beautiful, especially about the Back to the Beginning gig, 6 generations of rock musicians came together who were all inspired by the band before and the people before, and then you see the power of the genre. We all got to be together in this. Rock needs unity. Rock needs cross-generational love and unity, because we're all just fucking fans at the end of the day. And some younger rock's going to be more emotional than when it was. Some older rock's going to be harder than the emotional state of kids' minds today. But that doesn't matter, man. We're all in this together. We're all at some weird dysfunctional fucking Christmas dinner, and we got to eat the fucking turkey, man.
It's very true. You know, you mentioned you grew up in a guitar shop, and you play guitar. You play guitar.
Man, play guitar.
Live. Do you consider yourself more a guitar player or a singer? Do you take pride in both?
I do both, man. I write my song. I play guitar, piano, bass, and drums. Drums fucking terribly. Riddled with ADHD. I'm not consistent. You know what I mean? In any part of my life. But I play guitar. I love guitar. You know, I grew up in a guitar shop. Like, I was fucking first shit I learned was like the Trooper by Iron Maiden. A guy called Napper in Manchester was teaching me. I was like into that shit, and then I love guitar. I love playing guitar, but I also love being a frontman. My favourite thing in the world is getting a fucking crowd going. So I play guitar on stage, but sometimes it holds me back from getting everybody the fuck up. I think, like, with my shows, like, I want showmanship. I want theatre back in rock and roll. I love it. I'm fucking into shoegaze, but I'm not a fucking shoegaze. I'm gonna fucking take your fucking shoes off and throw them at you, and then give you a fucking kiss and a love bite, and then cover you with water. You know what I mean? I like the fact that sometimes when I ain't got a guitar on, anything can happen. I can get dirty and down in it, and then I'll just play a ballad with me acoustic, or I'll rip a fucking solo. You know what I mean? I think freedom with it.
Your voice is super powerful, man. Did you have influences vocally that they kind of crafted you as a singer, where there's a moment you knew you could do this, that you could sing like that, and people that kind of influenced you on your style?
100% vocalist for me, Freddie Mercury, Chris Cornell, Jeff Buckley, Axl Rose, Roger Daltrey, James Hetfield, and
what about the guy you just made an EP with?
And obviously Steven Tyler, yeah. Obviously Steven Tyler. I think when you
might be coming after you if you didn't say his name, brother.
When you get up there with him, I mean, like, Dream On notes. I mean, that note at the back in the saddle. Riding high, I'm like, fucking hell, that's like top of the piano. It's like dogs can fucking only hear that. You know, I think, unbelievable. It was unbelievable to work with Joe and Stephen, because it all is derived from the blues. And we were talking about, especially in rock music, I think at the minute it's been missing roll, and the roll is in the entertainment, the roll is in the blues. You know, I think there's a lot of, not knocking it, but there's a lot of electronica, metal rock going on that's fucking great, but you need some roll to balance it out. You need some sex, you need some blues, you need some you need the fucking car that's got that many suitcases on it's fucking doing this, but just somehow fucking trudging along, you know?
So tell me about making these songs with Joe and Stephen, because it's interesting. So I was with Joe Perry about a week before the record came out, the first single came out.
Oh, wow, shit, I didn't know that.
And I was with him, and because he was doing a solo gig, and I was in his dressing room, and we were talking, and I said, and at that point, I'm aware of you because Back to the Beginning had happened, and I said to him, how did you turn around something with Yungblud so quick like this, that you've got a record? And he said, oh no, he goes, I knew about him before Back to the Beginning. He told me that he got hip to you seeing your version of "I Was Made for Loving You." Did you know that?
I did know that, yeah. I did that for a movie, and he was like, "Wow, man, you voice up there, like that's some real shit." And after he hit me up after that, I was like, "All right, cool. I'm on my way back from LA to London, so I'll fucking stop in Sarasota where he lives." So I got me plane, and I had him take me to Sarasota to have a beer with Joe Perry. And then he told me him and Stephen were thinking about potentially getting in the studio together again after Stephen's vocal operation. And I was like, holy shit, how can I be a part of this in any facet? I can come in as a writer, producer, fucking just even hype guy, whatever the fuck you want, you know what I mean? So we arranged a meeting, and we arranged to meet in LA, and we'd secretly held a studio across the road because you know what it's like on a first date. You're either going to go home and fuck, or you're going to hate each other. And it's fair to say we went home together, and we made fucking musical love. You know what I mean? That day, it was epic. I remember My Only Angel came out within the first 4 hours. And you can tell that there's this energy of forces colliding on My Only Angel that kind of quietens down on the rest of the EP, but you can tell that first effervescent energy of me and fucking happens when in that record. It's gangster.
Did you know Tyler prior to that, or
Never.
did you meet
that
him?
was the first day I met Steven Tyler, and we were already. Me and Steven are fucking cut from the same cloth. We're puppy dogs. Joe Perry's a cat, and me and Steven are dogs, and we're fucking woof at you all day. Energy don't go, and that man's voice, holy shit.
You know what's Dom? You know what's amazing about it? What you just said right there. Still, that I don't. I've always said that to me, Steven is the greatest living American. I always have to say American because Mick is still out there doing it and all that. But the greatest living American frontman,
without
singer,
a doubt,
rock.
without a doubt. I mean,
It's crazy.
when he came on it Back to the Beginning and Whole Lot of Love.
Insane.
I mean, like, to be in a studio with the guy and to learn from him and to be in a booth next to him. I'm stood in a vocal booth next to Steven Tyler. It's fucking amazing. I think what was beautiful is, like, we had this beautiful, healthy competition where we're both trying to sing higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And the producers are like, make sure you're fucking rolling this, because all the ad-libs we're getting are just like, we're not even thinking about it. You know, the biggest kind of enemy for any vocalist is your head. You've got to just, like, when you get up to those fucking notes, the My Only Angel notes or the Dream On notes, you got to just fucking ride with the gods. You know what I mean? You can't be like, oh shit, am I going to hit this note? So you got to disassociate. And when me and him were going tit for tat, it was fucking a magic. And it was like I felt like I was on a motorbike riding at 180 miles an hour, and if I fall off, I'm going to die.
It's seeing the two of you guys, even in the video, it's like, you know, you could feel the energy. You can feel the energy in the video. And knowing Steven, I don't know you until now, but knowing Steven, I'm just like, man, I'm sure for Steven, he's looking at a 28-year-old version of him standing next to you because there is that same energy.
It was wild. Me and him were just, I don't know, man. It was just like an honor, a fucking honor. We know, and I know what goes on with that band, and I know they'd love to do stuff, but they've had, you know, Steven's got well-documented issues, but then you hear him sing, whether it's on the EP you guys did, or whether it was, like you said, Whole Lot of Love at Back to the Beginning. I went to his charity event last year. I saw him sing. I was like, the fans are saying, oh my God, listen to this guy. Why isn't he out there playing live? And I understand there's some hesitation about it because they're worried that he could go out and doing a full show is a lot more of an ambitious thing for him right now than trying to just do some songs here and there. But there's a theory that some fans floated to me and said, hey, if Yungblud and Tyler could work on a record, could they go out and do some shows live where you could maybe do some of the heavy lifting and help them out if you needed it? Did you guys ever talk about that? I love that. I think the best thing about this EP and this relationship with us, it's been so fucking natural. it's nearly killed everyone on our teams because we're so in real time. You know what I mean? It's like nearly killed everyone. We're like, we want to do this and we want to do that, and it's like so fucking kids in sweet shops. You know what I mean? It's like fucking rockstar, fucking summer camp. We're like, fucking do whatever. So it's been really natural. So my vibe is, if I get the call, I'm down. If I don't, it's beautiful too. You know what I'm saying? What we made was real and it was organic, and that's why we stuck it to 5, because we didn't do an album, we did an EP, because that was what was captured in the moment, in the space of 2 weeks, as opposed to overthinking it. It was raw energy, it was real. And if the tour and if a gig and if a series of performances happens like that, we're in. If it's too planned out, or if it's too put together and not real, we're not interested. We just got to see if it makes sense naturally, and then we'll ride.
Tell me in the audience about what you did last night in New York, because it hit the press a little bit today. You did a private show, and my gosh, what a cast you had there with you last night, huh?
Yeah, that was wild. I think we're calling ourselves the Dirty Bats. It was amazing. It was amazing to play and to watch a band that consisted of Duff McKagan on bass, Chad Smith on drums, Slash on guitar, Andrew Watt on guitar, Adam Wakeman on keys. We had Eddie Vedder on vocals. We had Bruno Mars on vocals. We had me on vocals. We had Brandy Carlisle. We had Anthony Kiedis. It was an insane gig. I only played 3 songs. We opened the show with "Start Me Up," Stones, into Faces, into War Pigs, and it was an honor. And then it was an honor to stand next to Mr. Vedder and sing "Rockin' the Free World." It was unreal. Honestly, I'm a fan, and I just can't believe it. I think the biggest thing I'm feeling at the end of this year is gratitude and utter, like, I'm like the luckiest guy in the world. I don't know what fucking magic lamp I must have rubbed, or what fucking juju I've got this year. Hopefully next year's not shite. You know what I mean? It was amazing. I got to hang out and play and watch my heroes. I mean, what was amazing, Chad Smith and the band, they played Whipping Post and Anthony Kiedis for 15 minutes. I'm like, how the fuck did Chad keep that beat going for 15 minutes? It was unreal, the best in the world. And I got to watch him, and then I got to play on stage with them. Just unreal. And shout out to Andrew Watt for bringing us all together, man. He's a really fucking emotional, deep, talented guy that loves rock music in the same way that we all do, and he brings everyone together cross-generationally, so it's fucking great.
Yeah, I knew Andrew when he was a kid in New York, long before he was doing what he's doing now. He had a band with Glenn Hughes called California Breed. It was him, Glenn Hughes, and Jason Bonham. If you ever get a chance, check that record out. They only made one record. It's really good. Andrew was the unknown guy of the 3 at the time, and he was like 18 years old. And, Glenn was like 65, and it was just, it's a great record. There's one record out. It's so good. But, yeah, Andrew's career has just gone to a crazy level since then.
Yeah, man, rightly so.
Yeah, man. And congratulations to you, nominated for 3 Grammys. That's got to be pretty surreal for you. And one of them is the performance of Changes, right?
Yeah, I think we got Best Rock Performance, Changes, live at Villa Park, which is just so surreal to all of us, because to have a rock performance Grammy nomination for a live performance that can never be done again, you can't overdub that shit. That was like there and gone in a moment that meant so much to the world and so much to us and to the community and to Ozzy and to everyone is just unreal. And then the platform they gave me on that show secured me a Best Rock Song nomination with Zombie and a Best Rock Album nomination with Idols, which I will never take for granted, because my whole goal with this album was to make an album that would be rock music, classic rock music in 2025 for someone under 30 to attempt, and it's been a wild ride, and it was a risk, I think leading with a 9-minute song, my fucking label went green, but fuck it, people loved it, and I think people needed it, I think in a time of short form content, and and dopamine over depth. We went for depth, and people loved it, and I'm extremely honoured, and I'm eternally grateful.
That, by the way, I wanted to talk to you about that because so it's interesting what happened tying in back to the beginning with the Idols record, because Idols, which is your latest full length record, came out in March, right?
Yes.
Of this year. So then now back to the beginning happens. Now this whole new world discovers Yungblud, and I'm imagining you saw an immediate new spotlight all of a sudden thrust onto Idols, right?
100%. I think it was the album that was. I don't know what was looking over me. It feels like a gift from the gods. It feels like a hug from Ozzy. You know, I think this was an album when I was what that made me truly ready for this moment, and an album that I really can be like, when the eyes of the world come upon you. I'm happy for people to judge my work on that album. You know what I'm saying? I think I really found a place where I really approached this album. If this is the last thing I'm going to make, I'm going to throw everything I've got at it, and it really made me face myself, and really made me ready for moments like Back to the Beginning. It really made me myself. You know, I think in this business, when you start so young, it's so easy to lose who you are because of opinions in real time. You know, I think, like, can you imagine if Dark Side of the Moon came out and Gilmour was looking at a review 3 minutes after it came out? You know, I think it's a hard thing to comprehend. Living in music in 2025 and 2026, it's real time reaction, and so to kind of come to a place where I really know who I am and make an album like this, and then have that moment happen and the world discover it. I don't know what magic lamp I must have rubbed, but it's been amazing, and it's a double album. So the part 2 will be coming out. I wanted to make a double album that would be adherent to the greatest rock albums ever: Melancholy, Infinite Sadness, Use Your Illusion, Exile on Main Street, The Wall. That was the idea, was to build a world, forget about singles, forget about, no offense, radio, and make a record that would be start to finish an adventure. So my plan is to put out the second part of it, but I've already started working on the new album with Andrew Watt as well. So
well, and I'll tell you, I wanted to ask you about this because I'm curious, how are you personally handling all this, man? Because this is a lot to happen quickly for you. I know there's been a build. I know you've done records. I know you've had a following in England and all that, and other parts of the world maybe. But for this to all happen so quickly for you, as you mentioned more than once, Dom, people saying you're a poser, detractors. You know, there's those people out there too. Yeah, of
course.
Even somebody like Justin Hawkins took some shots at you, which I'm sure you heard about. So how do you handle that? Do you fire back at that? Do you roll it off your back? Do you think that's just a product of getting popular very quickly?
No, I think if something really bothers me, it will. And that didn't, because it's from a place of truth. I think the issue with that, the reaction to that performance from those guys, they were almost doormen, or trying to be doormen to a party that they weren't even invited to. You know, I think with it all, with this, all I'm trying to do is lead with my truth and my authenticity and what I have to say. And anyone can say anything they like about me, and I'm almost having fun with it. I like it because I love what I do, and I love this genre, and the amount of love I've received this year outweighs any hate, 90% to 10, so it doesn't affect me. I feel very comfortable at where I am right now. I feel like I'm in my dad's shop again at 10 years old. So I'm ready, and as long as I stay in this headspace, I think we're going to be fine. I'm going to go, and I'm going to write more rock and roll music with my friends, and I'm going to keep trying to come up with the best art I can, and I'm going to keep trying to grow my community, and that's all I focus on. That's all I've ever focused on. That's all I was focusing on before it even blew up. So change the formula, and that's when you lose yourself. So I'm honoured to be here. Fucking rock and roll.
And it's important to have good people around you too, right? Especially at a time like this, man, because we don't want, I mean, as you're a young guy, there's been a million casualties of rock and roll. We don't want to see that with you, man. That's why I think it's important, you don't go down. Yeah, man, enjoy the moment and take in all that it has to offer, but you also got to be careful you don't go off the rails,
Yeah,
right?
I think that's the thing. I think with it all, I'm really at the end. This is why I took some time off at the end of this year. I really needed to comprehend what happened to me, because you have to be grateful and you have to feel it, because this is the best thing in the world, or you get bitter and you end up like we were talking about earlier. If you don't feel what happens to you and you don't comprehend it, you get bitter and you get numb. And I don't want to do that. I feel so lucky, and I've loved this, and I love what I do, and I fucking love this genre. I love rock music. I've loved it since I was 6 hours old. Put on my dad's counter from the hospital with a Beatles ukulele across my knee. I had no other choice. And with it all, what I want to do is I want to make. I think with it all, there's we were talking about earlier, and when we talk about hate and when we talk about people kind of calling me a poser already, I'm down to take those shots so young bands can get in their garages and they can play the good shit and the classic rock shit, and I want to see what they come up with as young people. Because if you're immediately deterred by these gatekeepers who, again, aren't invited to the party, you're going to squash this genre before it's even had a chance to flourish. Fuck that. It's amazing. This year's been amazing for rock music because it's spherical. You have older bands like Deftones re-releasing music. You have young bands like Turnstile. You have young artists like Ammo and the Sniffers. You got Lambrini Girls in punk. You got Fontaines DC in indie. You've got Keo, this new band in grunge out of the UK that I'm really excited about. You got Yungblud trying to go straight down the middle, classic fucking rock and roll vibes, and I think it's great, and I think it's happening, and I think it's new, and it's exciting, and it's I think when I looked at the Grammy nominations, I was like, you know what, man, what a fucking cool list of artists, from Nine Inch Nails to Deftones to Hayley Williams to Amon and the Sniffers to Turnstile to Yungblud. It's multi-generational, and it's fucking happening, man. Rock is rearing its head again. It's gonna fucking bite you.
I hope you're right, man, from your lips to God's ears. I won't keep you much longer, man. I know you're probably fried, but I do want to ask you about Idols, because you mentioned opening the record with a 9-minute song. And that song is Hello, Heaven, Hello. And I'll be honest with you, man, I saw the video, actually, and I was floored by the video. I couldn't believe it, which I want to ask you about that, because you're out there. I don't know if that's AI or you're really up there on that horse in the snow.
I was in Bulgaria, minus 15 degrees. I had this Bulgarian man. I was like, you got any tips for the snow? Because I film war movies out there. You're doing Viking shit in the snow. He goes, hello, I'll give you Vaseline and baste you like Christmas turkey, and you will keep warm. I was like, fucking hell. So they were putting Vaseline on me. So when I take my shirt off in the snow, you get about a minute and a half of this fucking flubber on you, so you feel warm, and then about a minute and a half, 2 minutes in, you're like, holy fuck, it's freezing. But no, that was it. That was it. Because I remember the song remains the same. I'm watching Plant on a horse, him ride up to the castle, and I wanted to do my own spin on that. And I was like, I see it in the snow, and I see it in the mountains, and it was a period of self-reclamation, and hello was a goodbye to the past and hello to where we're going. It was like, thank you very much for this initial phase of Yungblud, but I'm going to get on my fucking horse now, and I'm going to ride from the abyss, and I'm going to find myself, because it starts in the snow, the middle section's fucking rock and roll, and then it ends religiously, and it ends a period of self-reclamation. So yeah, I had that idea and I mood boarded it, and it came out good. But I remember walking into the label, I was like, right, first single back, 4th album, fucking 9 minutes, you ready? They were like, what the fuck are you thinking? I'm like, we're doing it. They're like, can we chop it up into 3 sections? I was like, fuck no. Can we do a radio
So you
edit?
wouldn't let him edit it?
No.
You wouldn't let him do it? So
No.
That, good on you, man. Because you're talking to a radio guy, and I hate edits. And you know what else is great? First of all, it's a great song. And secondly, it doesn't, the sign of a great song is that doesn't feel like 9 minutes at all.
That's what I'm saying. Like, with it all, I really believe in when we're conditioned in a 15-second fucking soundbite world that you want to put something on and live in it and fall into it and be here and be present. Like, my vibe is, I put that song on every week still. You know what I mean? I love that song, even though I made it. You know, I think it's very interesting when you're an artist, right? You can love something because you made it, not because it's great. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing you got to get over. I still love that record, even if someone else would have made it. You know, I think like when you make records and you get past the objective kind of self-indulgent bullshit, and you get to be like, I really love this piece of music, even though I made it. It's great. It's kind of what you do it for as an artist. You know what I mean?
So 2025 is almost in the books. It's been an insane year. What do you got lined up for 26? What's it looking like right now?
It's amazing. You guys in America, you sold out our amphitheater tour in a minute. Unreal. Like what someone told me today, there were 100,000 people in the queue for Radio City Music Hall. So I was like, what the fuck?
Amazing.
So we're going to do America. I have a plan to announce a massive tour, and off the back of that in America, I'm going to put this part 2 out to Idols, and I'm working on my new record that's going to come. I'm inspired. I love it. I'm just going to keep running, man. Honestly, I'm so grateful to everyone that's listening and everyone that's coming to the shows. I promise every night I will bleed for you guys. I will give it everything. Thank you for having me, Eddie. I've loved this conversation.
Well, I enjoyed talking to you, man, and I hope to meet you in person one day soon, and I thank you for taking the time. And I got to say, man, as a guy that's been doing this over 4 decades myself, I am pulling for you all the way because
Thank you,
I tell my audience all the time, I love the old school stuff, and anybody hearing this interview and hearing you can tell, man, you're the real deal. Like you know the roots of rock and roll, you know what's going on. And I tell my audience all the time, man, whether you even like the artist's music or not, you got a young guy that's bringing it like you're bringing it. You got to root for him. You got to pull for him because we need it in rock music. And we all been waiting for that guy to come along. And I certainly hope it's you. And you look like you're off to a great start, man.
Rocky, man. Thank you so much.
Continued success, man. Be safe and hope to see you out there on the road somewhere soon, man. Thank you for the
Rock
time.
and roll, Eddie. Thank you so much for having me. All the love.
You got it, man. You too, man. Take care, all
Have
right?
a good one, man. Lots of love.
Yeah, I mean, you too.
Right
Bye-bye.
on.
There he
See you
goes.
later.
Go enjoy that pizza slice, man.
Fuck you, man. I'm going to have a lager and a slice of pizza in New York. Summit in the water.
There you go. Enjoy. There he goes, everybody. That's Yungblud joining us here on Trunk Nation. And what a fun conversation, man. Great dude. And I don't know how you can't root for that guy. And like I said, if you're out there looking for the next wave of rock, man, you gotta pull for guys like this, and that guy is well on his way. So good stuff there. And a guy as skinny as he is going out there to eat some pizza and beer, good on him. I'm jealous. You can do that when you're 28. I do it and I put 10 pounds on. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that, man. I did. And always good to talk to some, no pun intended, young blood. You know, it's always good to talk to these newer, younger artists. And that is a guy, I always say, you got to have a little something going on because there's a million young artists out there. That guy's got more than a little something going on right now, so it's really cool to see. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk to you for the next hour here on Trunk Nation.